If you're someone who's currently in a 9 to 5 job, or maybe you've just quit your job and started your own thing, maybe you're still working a job and trying to do a side hustle, maybe you've never had a job and you're trying to run your own business and you're not being very successful, this is the video for you. Let's go. Hey guys, my name's Yahya, founder and creator of Record Breaker, where I help you shatter past your highest revenue record months in the shortest amount of time. And in today's video, I'm going to be addressing a question I get asked a lot, which is why did I walk away from a great lucrative salary, a cushy, a nice, hefty lifestyle, and go into business for myself? Now, as some of you know, this is not my first rodeo. I've grown 5 businesses to 8, 7, and 6 figures. However, what most people don't know is that the last 2 were my businesses and the first 3 were somebody else's. So let's rewind back about 3 to 4 years. I was hired out of Dubai. I was working a nice job. I was getting promoted. I was doing well. I was making about 130 grand per year because I was paid in dirhams. Add to that a bonus that could be up to 3 to 4 times my salary. Let's take an average of about 2. That makes about 165,000 per year. The countries I was responsible for had hit $1 million in the first year of launch. And then came a golden handshake. And I took the golden handshake and I walked away and I did not ever apply. The first reason, as arrogant as it sounds, was that I wanted to work on my own terms. And before you think I have a big ego, let me explain. If you're working in a corporate job and you're in charge of sales like I was the country head for 2 countries, your only job is to ensure sales to the market and in the market. That means sales from the global headquarters and the manufacturing facilities to the country itself, and then sales within the country from the distributor and the end users and the customers to ensure that you do that. And I was ensuring that. However, here's what no one tells you about a cushy corporate job. If you're any good and you know what you're doing, it doesn't matter what benefits you get. It doesn't matter that you're flying around the world, eating fancy food, staying at fancy hotels, attending meetings, this, that, and the other. Because all that matters, all that's going on in your brain is, how do I increase sales? How do I improve my country's standing? How do I achieve? And that is the constant hamster wheel on which your mind is set. And I was like, if this is all I'm going to be thinking about, why shouldn't I do it for myself? I'm clearly good at it. I've done it many times and on my own terms. Now, a lot of people would call it time and location freedom, but for me, because I did have location freedom, I was traveling quite a bit. Time freedom is the number one thing, working on my own terms in my own time, which leads us to the next reason, and that is agency and integrity. You see, when you're working for someone, you think your decisions create impact, and they do, but to a very small extent. I was looking after 2 countries. I had hundreds of people reporting to me. I had this grand vision of myself and of my team and what my teams were going to do. However, each time there came orders from headquarters to downsize or to restructure, in spite of my best efforts, there was only so much I could do. And these were men and women selected by me to be part of my teams, doing a great job. And I had to go to them and give them the bad news that they were being let go. Not because I wanted it, not because they wanted it, not even because my regional headquarters wanted it, but because there was some global restructuring or something had to be done. Now, a lot of people think it's survival, you got to do what you got to do, etc., but this went against my personal code of integrity and ethics. It just rubbed me the wrong way when I realized I was just another cog in a much bigger wheel. And no matter what I thought of myself, no matter how much money I made, no matter what revenues I did, no matter what I delivered to the company, I would always be listening to somebody else who didn't really have a clue about the nature of my business. And that, boys and girls, brings us to the next reason, one of the most cliched reasons when it comes to people hating corporate life, and that is politics. I know lots of people who don't like politics or pretend that they don't like politics, but wherever in the world you have money, power, and people, there's going to be politics. It's just the nature of the game. But here's the problem with politics. Even the most talented, even the most well-intentioned, the most brilliant, the nicest, the best people in the world, if exposed long enough to politics, stop focusing on doing their job and start focusing on hanging on to their job. I was beginning to see it happen now to me, but that's not truly the only problem. The problem is I knew how to deliver. So I had a very important choice to make. Was I going to let go of my ability to do my job well and focus on keeping my job? Or was I going to let go of keeping my job and just focus on doing a fantastic job that I knew I could do? Honestly speaking, if I hadn't had the confidence in my abilities, I might have considered sticking around and just playing the game of hanging on to my job. But I did, and it was an important reason that led me to going my own way. Now, the next reason is stress and predictability. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people are under or were under the misconception that corporate jobs are safer than entrepreneurship. But if there's anything that the vid taught us, is that they're not. Tons and tons of people were fired when the pandemic broke out. Tons and tons of people will be fired going forward into the recession. Now, for me, this myth had been shattered a long time ago. Even now, we have an example that Facebook just let go of a ton of employees. Twitter just let go of a ton of employees. It is the writing on the wall. This is the nature of the corporate game. I had accepted it a long time ago. However, the question was, if you know how to deliver, and you are stressing out and you are delivering results, do you want to take the stress and grow somebody else's business? Or do you want to take the same stress and grow your own business? For me, because it would allow me time freedom, it would allow me agency, it would give me an opportunity to operate within my own code of ethics, my own integrity, I chose the latter. Which brings us to the next reason, and it's a personal reason, it's a selfish reason, and that is wealth creation. You see, I realized something very simple, and that is, if given enough time, energy, and attention, I could make a lot of money. I could learn things, I'd learned a lot of things, I could create and recreate and continue to deliver. How would I be reimbursed for what I was delivering? Where would I be paid more? Would I be paid more by an employer, or would I be able to pay myself a lot more? Look at the profit that you're making, the company that you work for right now, and look at your salary or your income or your compensation as a percentage of that. Now take the average of that for 5 years, and that is your income to wealth creation ratio. Now just do a simple projection of the amount of money that you can make. Factor in as many variables as possible, the amount of investment you'll have to do into courses, but make sure you don't factor in emotional variables, which is what a lot of people do, which is the fear and the uncertainty and all of that, because emotions don't really have a weightage on paper. They're just in your head. They're not real. And the last thing is timing, or as I call it, serendipity. You see, I hadn't truly been working as a 9-to-5 employee since 2014, when I was hired by Takeda to set up their business operations from scratch in a brand new market that they'd never been in. I wasn't working a regular job and doing regular predefined things that people do. I had to do whatever I needed to do to make things happen, whatever I needed to do to set up the business from scratch. And so when I looked at my career since 2010, even before this role, I had basically been growing businesses. So I'd spent essentially a decade in the corporate sector being polished to be an entrepreneur. I had the best of both worlds. All the trainings, all the processes that one learns working for blue chip global conglomerates, as well as the self-regulation, time management, marketing, and financial skills that are needed for one to be good as an entrepreneur. And I had all that. It was time for me to start growing other businesses at an accelerated pace. And that's why I often tell my clients and my friends that timing is everything. And these are the reasons I went ahead and did what I did. I hope it helps you. I hope it inspires you on your journey. I'm out of here. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.